Right now at 5, a traffic stop turns deadly for Missouri deputy as a massive manhunt went underway.
And we've got a warm and breezy day. Red flag warnings in place for parts of the area. Look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, the U.S. men's hockey team receives a hero's welcome after their historic Olympic gold medal victory.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Samantha Walker.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday, February the 24th. Happy Tuesday to all of you out there. And we talked about the fire danger today, and we do have some red flag warnings. It's going to be dry, it's going to be breezy, but there is at least some rain on the way. It's still not looking impressive, but right now at this point, any rain's better than no rain.
Anything helps.
Yeah, absolutely. It may not make a huge difference, but again, something's better than nothing. We've got additional rain chances down the road, but we got to get through today first. And today, again, we're back to what we were at a week ago today. No outdoor burning. There were a lot of prescribed burns taking place yesterday. One of them caught me off guard. Mercy Park in Joplin. I could see it from the house, and I was taking our youngest to get some ice cream at Brahms, and we saw it down the road, and we're like, well, let's go see what's going on. So,
there shouldn't be a fire there normally.
I know, that's what I'm like, oh, it must be, outside of town. And then as we got a little closer to Main Street, I was like, no, that's not outside of town. But again, prescribed burns being done ahead of today's dry and windy conditions. So today, none of that. No prescribed burns, no burning. Be careful of sparks and all that business as well. Live look from downtown Pittsburgh looks pretty good so far. We do have clouds increasing across the area. Already getting to that mostly cloudy point. KDOT camera 69,400, dry and otherwise clear. And same from the MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line in Joplin, looking good as well. Here's those red flag warnings. So for Kansas, Missouri, they'll run through 7 this evening, and for northeastern Oklahoma, they will run through 8 tonight. So this is, again, those winds gusting 40, 45 miles an hour at times. So you need to, again, be extra cautious out there. 41 in Joplin, 36 in Pittsburgh. And we look at temperatures around the region this morning. We've got upper 30s and a couple of low 40s. Those are our warmer spots. Joplin and Carthage both sitting at 41 degrees. Now, it's already breezy out there, so we do have a wind chill of almost 10 degrees in some places. So we've got some upper 20s. So we are warmer this morning. In fact, we are upwards of about 20 to 25 degrees warmer now than where we were this time yesterday. But those wind chills certainly making it feel a little bit colder. Future track for today, there's those wind arrows, and they are rolling across the areas. We'll have those gusty winds. We're also mostly cloudy today. So as we've discussed before, and really this is almost a repeat of a week ago today. We'll have mostly cloudy skies, and even though it'll be cloudy, it's not going to rain. It may look like it wants to, but it's not. So don't let that fool you into thinking, oh, okay, there's some rain rolling in. I can get some, maybe do something small and it'll be fine. It will not be fine, because there's not rain rolling in, at least not today. Kids out the door this morning, again, a little better, 40, mid-50s by lunch and recess instead of the low 30s and low 60s as they head home a little later today. Mid-40s by 9, again, those mid-50s by noon. Our highs today into the low to mid-60s, so a nice improvement over yesterday, going back above normal. Southwest winds, that should be 45, I apologize, but they'll be 15 to 25, gusting upwards of 40 to 45 miles an hour at times across the area. We're going to break down details on how dry it is, these gusty winds, and tomorrow night's rain chances here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. More officers have been shot in an overnight standoff near Reed Spring, Missouri, involving accused cop killer Richard Dean Byrd. Authorities say officers in a wooded perimeter came under fire around 11:30 last night, with at least 2 hit after hours of searching for Byrd. He's suspected in the shooting death of Christian County Deputy Gabriel Ramirez during a traffic stop on Highway 160 and later fled into the woods armed with a rifle. The blue alert was canceled just before 1 a.m. and investigators say the suspect has now been taken into custody and is no longer a threat. There's still no word on the conditions of the wounded officers or the suspect. Well, Secret Service agents shot and killed a North Carolina man who allegedly breached President Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate with a shotgun and a gas canister. The first family was in Washington at the time. Investigators say 21-year-old Austin Tucker Martin raised his weapon before a Palm Beach County deputy and 2 Secret Service agents opened fire. Martin had been reported missing from his rural North Carolina home a day earlier. Law enforcement is now searching his phone, computer, and social media for for a motive.
He put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position. At that point in time, the deputy and the two Secret Service agents fired their weapons and neutralized the threat.
This comes 17 months after convicted would-be assassin Ryan Routh was sentenced to life in prison for a separate plot near Mar-a-Lago. We'll take a look at what the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics found in Ottawa County when they served warrants into suspected illegal cultivation and obtaining OBN registrations by fraud. The agents came away with nearly 700 pounds of processed marijuana and more than 41,000 marijuana plants. They've taken at least 3 people into custody and they expect more arrests. We know at least some of this police activity was along Highway 125 between Miami and Fairland, Oklahoma. State, federal, county, city, and tribal police agencies have been working together on this case. Well, the U.S. men's hockey team arrived in South Florida yesterday after the team beat Canada in a thrilling Olympic final game in Milan, Italy over the weekend. CBS News' Christian Benavides reports from Miami.
Fans in Miami gave the USA men's hockey team a hero's welcome, fresh off their gold medal victory at the Milan Cortina Winter Olympics. Inside the airport, crowds waited to cheer on Team USA after Sunday's 2-1 victory over Canada in overtime.
How does it feel to make history?
Feels amazing. I couldn't be happier to do it for this country and with this special group of guys.
People of all ages were on hand to catch a glimpse of the hockey champions.
Watching it together, the bonding moment, and just support and rooting on our country was just incredible.
Very exciting. I'm probably going to tell it to my kids.
The momentous win came 46 years after Team USA beat the Soviet Union in the 1980 Miracle on Ice in Lake Placid, New York. Monday, as the American team signed autographs, some looked back and into the future.
I would say follow your dreams because I wanted to be a U.S. Olympian. Hopefully now winning this gold medal can pave the way for this next generation.
Monday night in Miami, the Olympic hockey champs are set to continue their celebrations. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The son of a famous actor and director pleads not guilty to murdering his parents in their home. And temps continue to climb in the 4 states. Chris has a look at your weekly forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch, Nick Reiner, the son of actor and director Rob Reiner, pled not guilty yesterday to the stabbing deaths of his parents in their Brentwood home in December. The 32-year-old, who has a history of mental health issues, is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder as prosecutors consider whether to seek the death penalty. Just hours before their deaths, the Reiners and their son Nick attended a holiday party hosted by Conan O'Brien. The comedian broke his silence in an interview with The New Yorker.
Saying goodnight to somebody and having them leave and then find out the next day that they're gone. It's so awful. It's just so awful.
Prosecutors say they're still awaiting the final autopsy results. Nick Reiner is being held in jail without bail. His next court date is April 29th. Well, investors and trading partners are nervous as they try to figure out what is next after President Trump announced new 15% global tariffs in response to the Supreme Court ruling, which wiped out some previous tariffs. The Dow Jones Industrial Average plummeted more than 800 points yesterday in response to the turmoil. Erica Brown has more details from Capitol Hill.
Markets took a tumble Monday amid the uncertainty over President Trump's tariff policy. He announced a new import tax on all countries after Friday's Supreme Court ruling, striking down most of his tariffs.
We're not going to stop our program. We'll just use the congressional authorities they've extended already for now.
In a 6-3 ruling, the justices said the president's use of an emergency powers law to levy sweeping tariffs was unconstitutional. In response, the White House turned to the Trade Act of 1974 to impose a 15% global tariff. European leaders say the new taxes violate the trade deal the EU made with the U.S. last July and delayed a vote to ratify the agreement.
We want to have clarity from the United States that they are respecting the deal.
On social media, the president threatened any country that wants to, quote, play games with what he called a ridiculous Supreme Court decision will be met with a much higher tariff, adding, "Buyer beware." The Trade Act the White House is relying on now only allows the president to impose tariffs for 150 days unless extended by Congress.
I doubt very seriously that any additional tariff authority is going to be energetically supported by most Republicans.
It's going to be, I think, a challenge to find consensus on any path forward on the tariffs.
President Trump rejected that notion Monday, saying he does not need congressional approval to impose new tariffs. Erica Brown, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Several businesses have announced they will sue the administration to recoup the money they paid for the tariffs that the Supreme Court ruled were unconstitutional. Well, still to come, new animated series for kids and action thrillers for adults highlight tonight's television. Plus, temps continue to climb in the 4 states. Chris has a look at your Tuesday forecast. A look back at the late Eric Dane's final interviews about his battle with ALS. Plus, a CIA thriller is coming to television. Gwen Baumgarten has your Eye on Entertainment report.
A popular kids' book is headed to TV. Today, Nick Jr. is unveiling the animated Mr. Crocodile series for preschoolers, debuting in the U.S. for the first time.
Snap in to a brand new show.
The series is meant to promote acceptance as it follows the adventures of a hungry but friendly crocodile and his best friend Daisy. Tributes continue to pour in following the death of actor Eric Dane, who passed away last week following his battle with ALS. The late actor returned to screens in the Netflix series Famous Last Words, released the day after his death. In the episode, he leaves his message for the world and advice for his daughters. Dane will also be featured in a documentary from the community organization I Am ALS.
This is all new to me. This is uncharted territory. I'm learning as I go. I'm just trying to walk through this thing with as much grace and dignity as I can so I can show my kids this is how you do this.
The upcoming untitled short documentary has no release date yet. And tonight, the winter return of FBI, featuring love, drama, and action.
Luca, you're insane.
Plus, the television premiere of CIA, a new show that follows agents tasked with keeping America safe amid the urgent search for a stolen top-secret weapon.
Hey, don't touch that. It's a crime scene.
Catch the premiere of thriller CIA following a new episode of FBI tonight on CBS and Paramount+. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Well, a lot of great options to look forward to. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, again, we've got those red flag warnings in place today, so here's what you need to know. We'll have those out there with winds out of the southwest gusting upwards of 45 miles an hour at times, so absolutely no outdoor burning. We are watching those scattered shower and storm chances late tomorrow into Thursday morning, and our temperatures will continue to climb well above normal. We're going to break it all down for you when the KOAM Morning News returns. Time now, 5:18. We'll be right back.
Here's your Skywatch weather forecast from the trusted Roper Kia Weather Center.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 5:20 now on this Tuesday morning. We're back exactly where we were a week ago. We could almost replay last Tuesday's forecast in terms of today because it's almost the same. Red flag warnings, Kansas, Missouri through 7 this evening, Oklahoma through 8 this evening. Our humidity levels low. Now this time they're not as low as they were last week. We had humidity values as low as 10 to 15%, but they are still very low, dropping in that 20 to 25% range as we head through the afternoon, so still very dry across the area. The reason the red flag warnings are through this zone and not further west is because further west, your winds will be gusting 25 to 35, keeping you just below red flag warning criteria, whereas you head further south and east, those winds pick up. Now, some good news is, now let's take a little bit here. Look at the humidity levels as we roll into our Wednesday. They do drop off here and there, but they're much higher ahead of some increasing rain chances. And here's a look at those winds today. And see, this is what I was talking. The further northwest you go, it's still windy. Don't get me wrong. 30 to 35 mile an hour wind gusts, still breezy. But as you get further south and east, that's where you get into that 40, 45 mile an hour range. and that will continue into the evening hours and late evening hours. It'll be overnight tonight, very early tomorrow morning, that we'll see the winds ease up just a hair for us across the area. And of course, our fire weather outlook still in that elevated category. So out of the 3, it's the lowest, but it's there. And just because it's the lowest doesn't mean it's any safer. Absolutely no outdoor burning really anywhere. And you've got to make sure that you're paying close attention. Anything that you're doing that could potentially spark a fire, because under these conditions, again, it could spread very quickly. Now, we've talked about some rain chances. Now, that's not going to happen today. We're mostly cloudy today. Like I said earlier, it's going to look like it's going to rain, but it is not going to rain. Just mostly cloudy skies. Those will continue into our Wednesday. In fact, most of our Wednesday, we're still dry. We've got those cloudy skies across the area. It'll be really late Wednesday. And Future Track has actually moved it back a little bit, but we'll see. I'd say after 10 o'clock, though, tomorrow. That's when we'll start to see opportunities initially for isolated and eventually scattered showers and a few thunderstorms. And these will continue into early Thursday for us as well. You can see by 8, they're still hanging around, but by about 9, 10 a.m. Thursday, they're done, they're gone, they are out of here. We still have some clouds to deal with and some north winds out there, but the rain itself will be gone, and eventually will start to clear out as we head through the day on our Thursday. For today, though, it is warmer, much warmer. Low 40s to start, low 50s by 11 o'clock this morning. Our highs into the low to mid 60s. As I mentioned, southwest winds 15 to 25, depending on where you are, gusting anywhere, we could say anywhere from 35 to 45 miles an hour across the region. Into the evening we go, still mostly cloudy, mid 50s by 10, low 40s tonight. Southeast winds still gusting upwards of about 25. And like I said, after we get past 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, they'll begin to ease up for us. We'll have south winds tomorrow about 5 to 10, pushing close to 70. And we'll get a little cooler on Thursday. We start warming up again Friday and Saturday into the 70s. Sunday, got another little system coming through, drops our temperatures back a little below normal, but it's a short-lived cool down. We start to warm up again next week, back into the 50s, 60s, and even low 70s by next Thursday. That's checking your forecast. We're going to send it over to Samantha now with Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Children's Miracle Network unveiled its new logo yesterday at Freeman West Hospital in Joplin, along with the 2026 local champion, 9-year-old Zakiya Crow, who has a disease that affects her eyes, was honored as this year's CMN champion and greeted supporters while signing autographs.
It warms my heart when I get to interact with these children and their families, because it becomes more of a job. It's not just me raising funds for Freeman or for Children's Miracle Network. I get to see the immediate impact that these funds have on our children and their families.
CMN is now known simply as Children's Miracle Network, with the new Make Big Change for All Kids campaign ahead of its 40th anniversary in 2027. Well, a racket sport is growing in popularity in the U.S., and it's probably not the one that first comes to mind. Christian Benavides explores the world of paddle and why fans believe it could overtake pickleball.
Anthony Nastasi was introduced to padel 5 months ago. He's been playing non-stop and says it's helped him get in shape.
I've lost 30 pounds since I started playing. It's been life-changing. Just feeling better, waking up more active.
He's part of a growing community playing this racket sport, with an estimated 30 million players globally. The sport is popular overseas, especially in Europe and Latin America. Now, interest is surging in the U.S., from just 20 padel courts in 2019 to about 800 last year, with 100,000 players.
If the current trend holds, the U.S. Padel Association estimates that by 2030, here in the U.S., there will be more than 30,000 courts and 10 million players.
Leon Rosenfeld is one of the co-founders of Excel Padel in West Palm Beach, Florida, the largest indoor padel facility in the country. He says post-pandemic popularity in pickleball has gotten people interested in padel.
It's just a notch higher than what pickleball is. The sport is a combination of squash and tennis played by doubles in a glass steel enclosure.
Yep, again.
Corey Thompson is a former tennis instructor turned full-time padel coach.
Are they mostly coming from pickleball? Are they coming from tennis?
It's a lot of both. Do it again.
bounce and go.
I joined him on the court for a session.
Again, the ball can bounce off of our sides here. It's exploding. Right after COVID, it seemed like there was a club going up every week.
That momentum hasn't slowed down. Nastasi traded his pickleball paddle for padel.
The competitiveness, the fast pace, it's just great.
And says there's no going back. Christian Benavides, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
Padel has also become a favorite for celebrities and professional athletes. Maroon 5 singer Adam Levine and soccer superstar Lionel Messi are among those raving about the sport. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, a local library launches a 6-day conference exploring the rich history of the region.
And we've got red flag warnings in place on this warm and windy day. A look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, a massive winter storm breaks records across the Northeast with nearly 3 feet of snow.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Tuesday, February the 24th. I'm going to take 2 seconds here. Padel ball. It was tennis with a net.
It's an enclosure that evidently you're allowed to hit the sides of, and he's not a fan.
No, it's tennis in a cage. It's like saying, okay, so if we play football, but we put a net around the football field, and we're playing with golf gloves instead of football gloves, we can call it something else, even though it's practically the same thing.
But how would the net assist the game of football? Like the enclosure assists the game of Padel.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not trying to defend the game because it's not going to be for me, but you're so mad about it.
I'm not even that old, and I am over it. It's
so
tennis
heated.
with a cage. Okay. Well, anyway, happy Tuesday, everybody. It just blew my mind. That's
You're not going to start playing anytime soon.
No. I probably already have. Anyway,
hopefully something like that hasn't enraged you already this Tuesday morning. Hopefully it's off to a great start.
It's so bizarre. Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. It is going to be a great Tuesday, although we do need to be extra cautious as we've got red flag warnings, we've got dry weather, we've got fire danger concerns. Let's dive in. We're going to start the live look in downtown Pittsburgh. So what if we put a net around downtown Pittsburgh? Can we call it something else if we enclosed it? I mean, that's all. Anyway, it looks good, though. We do have clouds already into the area. We're already mostly cloudy, and we will be mostly cloudy to cloudy today. KDOT camera, 69, 400, looking back to the north, looking good as well. And our final stop, the MoDOT camera, 32nd and range line in Joplin, looks good, too. Let's take a look at what we do have concerns with, and this is our red flag warnings in place. Kansas and Missouri, they'll run through 7 this evening. For Oklahoma, they run through 8. And we're looking at winds in these areas gusting anywhere from 35 to 45 miles an hour. That's why, again, absolutely no outdoor burning, and be extra cautious about anything that could potentially spark a fire, because today is not the day for it. It's almost the same conditions we had a week ago. The humidity levels are a smidge higher than what they were a week ago. That's why our fire risk map shows just the elevated instead of the critical, because we're not as dry. Still dry, just not as dry. We're at 41 in Joplin right now, 37 in Pittsburgh. And let's take a look at temperatures around the region, because it is a bit chilly this morning, but considerably better than yesterday. Upper 30s. And we do have a couple low 40s out there, Veneta, Joplin, Carthage, but not a bad start. A little better than yesterday. A little colder. Cassville sitting at 33. But you factor in that breeze that's already in place, and in some cases, we've got a nearly 10-degree drop with those wind chills into the upper 20s and low 30s for most of us out there this morning. So it still feels pretty cold. However, we are, again, anywhere from about 15 to almost 25 degrees warmer right now than where we were at this time yesterday morning. All right, future track for today, we are dry, mostly cloudy skies, and just like a week ago, it may look like it's going to rain today, but it will not rain today. We will be dry out there, so again, that's why we just stress so much. No outdoor burning. Be careful. You have smoking materials, welders. Like I said, I'm not picking on you. It's just a good example. We had examples last week. They talked about if you've got a chain towing towing a trailer. That could cause sparks on the road. That could be enough to potentially spark a fire. So just be extra cautious today. Kids out the door, better as well. 40, mid-50s by lunch and recess, heading in the low 60s as they head home. Mid-40s by 9, mid-50s by noon. And our highs today, warmer, low to mid-60s. Southwest winds 15 to 25, and those gusts out there, especially in the red flag warning zones, upwards of 45 miles an hour. We're going to have another look at your forecast, talk about these dry and breezy conditions and when our first round of rain could get here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. The Miami Public Library kicks off its 6-day Homegrown History Conference yesterday, exploring the rich past of Ottawa County. Yesterday's sessions focused on Indigenous roots and early settlement, featuring presentations on Miami, Ottawa, Shawnee, Wyandot, and Quapaw tribal histories.
I love giving these talks about Shawnee history. It's something when I wake up, I'm thinking about Shawnee things. When I go to bed, I'm thinking about Shawnee things. And so to go out there and show how much pride we have in our nation, what we've been able to accomplish. And so that's something I'm really proud to do, and I'm honored to be able to do that work.
The conference runs through Saturday and covers topics from mining history and archaeology to the transformation of Main Street through the decades. Well, small controlled burns took place across the Joplin area yesterday, including McClelland Park, Campbell Parkway, and later Landreth and Mercy Parks. Experts with the City of Joplin and Quail Forever say prescribed fires every 3 to 5 years help clear duff decomposing leaves and twigs and promote native prairie growth while pushing back invasive plants. Officials stress these are planned conservation burns and ask residents not to call 911 when they see the smoke. Well, in Pittsburgh, a former Ground Zero first responder now helps current frontline workers combat burnout. Chandra Davis and her husband, pastors of Pitt Church, applied for the Frontline Builders and Happy Products campaign that sends free coffee pots to frontline workers nationwide. Emergency workers in a number of communities in southeast Kansas and southwest Missouri are benefiting from the program. Well, Missouri marks Severe Weather Preparedness Week March 2nd through 6th. A statewide tornado drill is set for 11 a.m. Wednesday, March 4th, with schools, businesses, and families urged to practice taking cover and review their emergency plans. The Weather Service reports 16 Missourians died in tornadoes in 2025, in addition to deaths from flooding and other severe storms. Well, severe weather season is approaching, and animals face the same dangers as their owners. Experts say pets and livestock should be equipped for several days with enough food, water, and medications. It's also recommended that pets are microchipped, and livestock owners should clear fuel buildup around buildings and create evacuation zones. While forestaters can expect warmer weather ahead, the northeastern U.S. is struggling with a historic winter storm. Close to home, we're still dealing with weather that contributes to dangerous fire conditions. But the historic blizzard that's slamming the Northeast is bringing major cities to a standstill. Jared Hill reports from New York City, where many areas are seeing record snowfall, and some areas up to 2 feet.
Heavy snow swirled in blizzard-like winds across the Northeast, shutting down major cities.
This winter has been particularly tough, and this winter is not for the faint of heart.
Providence, Rhode Island set an all-time snowstorm record with almost 3 feet of snow. Atlantic City, New Jersey got more than a foot.
Visibility is like zero. I can't see in front of my face right now, and I'm frozen.
Places like Babylon on New York's Long Island are also seeing record accumulations with at least 30 inches. The storm was too dangerous even for snowplows. This one flipped on its side. This nor'easter is now one of the 10 biggest storms in New York City history.
We are plowing streets and doing everything we can to keep our roadways clear so that emergency vehicles can get through. These are dangerous conditions.
Most New Yorkers stayed off the roads with the rare travel ban in effect, but you just couldn't keep people from coming out to check out this real-life snow globe in Central Park. At the height of the storm, some residents were seen getting around on skis, even stepping out in snowshoes.
It's been nice in the park because since it's still falling, it's really deep. They haven't been able to keep up with it quite yet.
In the Philadelphia area, people sheltering in place captured scenes of a winter wonderland. But at the nation's airports, anything but smooth sailing, with thousands of flights grounded in this latest bout of winter weather. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
The East Coast isn't the only region dealing with snow this week. According to the National Weather Service, higher elevations in Northern California could get more today. Another system is expected to dump snow on parts of the Great Lakes and upper Midwest starting tomorrow. Well, that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. People shopping for fish hope to catch a break. In Consumer Watch, there was confusion at the nation's airports over the weekend after the Department of Homeland Security had initially announced that TSA PreCheck and Global Entry would be temporarily paused due to the partial shutdown affecting the department. DHS later reversed course and said TSA PreCheck expedited lines would continue operating following pushback from airlines, though Global Entry's Trusted Traveler program remains suspended. Well, Lent is in full swing and seafood counters are busier as many Christians give up red meat on Fridays. That spike in demand is driving up some wholesale costs, with Circana reporting pollock prices recently jumped about 30% for certain suppliers. And Labor Department data showing frozen seafood prices were already up 8.4% in December compared to a year earlier. Nicole Williams visited an Atlanta fish market to look at whether higher costs are being passed on to consumers.
Lenten season is in full swing, and now more Americans are seeking out seafood counters.
On Fridays during Lent, people fast from red meat.
Kathleen Halsey owns Kathleen's Cat in Atlanta, Georgia. Yael Majuram works here. He tells us they've been busy icing, cutting, wrapping, and selling all kinds of fish to new and familiar faces.
Springtime is definitely an increase of customers.
Many fish markets see this spike in demand this time of year. But does the surge mean you'll spend more for your fish of choice? Halsey says that really depends on where you shop. When her suppliers pay more, she does too. But no matter what changes with supply and demand, she tries to keep her prices the same.
You can get it at a really good price.
Audra Miller says that's one of the reasons she keeps coming back.
Wednesday is the special BOGO day. They have a special freezer. You can get a buy one, get one frozen fish.
Although the Lenten rush is just getting started and prices from now to Easter are uncertain, Miller says she's happy prices won't be a problem for her here.
They care about the community and they care about who they, work with. And that's meaningful to me.
In Atlanta, Nicole Williams, CBS News.
That's it for Consumer Watch. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, again, we have got those red flag warnings in place. So here's what you need to know. Our winds increasing, already picking up this morning, but those gusts really ramping up this afternoon. So absolutely no outdoor burning. We are watching the possibility for some scattered showers, maybe a few rumbles of thunder late tomorrow into the first portion of our Thursday. And as we head into the weekend, at least the first half, temperatures climbing well above normal out there. We're going to break it all down for you, talk about these dry and breezy conditions, the windy conditions, and those really warm temperatures when the KOAM Morning News returns. Time now, 5:44. We'll be right back.
We're learning more about the scope of damage from a recent freeze in Florida. Details in today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. Texas has declared an agricultural emergency following several wildfires that have hit the Panhandle and West Texas. Now, across the Southwest Plains, pasture lands have been stripped down to sand following the wildfires that killed cattle and wiped out their food sources. The loss of grass in Oklahoma and Kansas has sent ranchers scrambling for donations of hay to feed their herds. Now, since last week, the biggest wildfire, the Ranger Road Fire, had burned an estimated 283,000 acres in northern Oklahoma and southern Kansas. At last report, it was 65% contained. Florida officials report recent freezes caused an estimated $3 billion in losses to the state's agriculture. One official calling it one of the most damaging freeze events for Florida agriculture in its history. Now, sugarcane seemed to suffer the worst, with damage totaling more than $1 billion. Citrus came in at more than $674 million. But officials say there's also damage to vegetables, melons, and fruits. And having trouble sleeping? Foods high in magnesium may be the answer. Experts say spinach has a naturally high magnesium content. It is also easily incorporated into any salad, sandwich, or burger. Bananas also are packed with magnesium and are a convenient snack for when you are on the move. Another snack to try, they say, is almonds. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or get updates over at agweb.com.
Here's your Skywatch weather forecast from the trusted Roper Kia Weather Center.
We are again dealing with fire danger concerns across the area. We've got red flag warnings. Again, Kansas, Missouri, they run through 7 this evening. Oklahoma, they will run through 8 this evening. And this is where our strongest winds are expected to be. Now, again, want to emphasize, Mother Nature doesn't know county boundaries or state boundaries or anything like that. It does not mean that as soon as you cross the county line from Cherokee into Labatt that the winds ease up. And that's not how it works. But this is where the greater fire concern is, but it is going to be breezy across the entire region. It is going to be dry across the entire region today. So here's a look at our humidity levels as we get into the noon hour, and you can see they are better. That's the one thing that's different from last week, from a week ago today, really, to today, is the humidity levels last week were as low as like 10 to 15%. This go around, they're slightly better, but it is still very dry air across the area from west to east, dealing with these dry conditions through the evening. Now tomorrow, the humidity levels will begin to climb a bit because we do have some increasing chances for some scattered showers and storms, which we'll get to in a minute. But for today, again, no outdoor burning and be very cautious with anything that could spark a fire. So you can see again where that strongest wind gust area is, and that's why those red flag warnings are where they are. But like I said, you don't just cross the county line and the winds stop. That's not the case. Further to the west, we're looking at those gusts 30 to 35, which keeps you just below red flag warning criteria. You head further south and east, and that's where we get into that 40 to 45 mile an hour range, maybe even a bit higher at times, and locally higher gusts for some people as we go through the afternoon and evening. It'll stay breezy through the overnight hours. It'll be very early tomorrow morning. While we do get some gusty winds, not as bad this go around tomorrow morning, but we'll start to see those winds begin to ease up after about 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and that will certainly be good. We do have the elevated fire concerns because our humidity levels aren't as low as they were a week ago. It's why we don't have that critical right now, but we still have elevated fire concerns, and that's something you've got to pay close attention to. And we've talked about rain chances. Now today it may look like it's going to rain. It is not going to rain today. But tomorrow, late tomorrow into Thursday, that's when we'll see that opportunity for some rain. So we're mostly cloudy today. We go to noon tomorrow. Still mostly cloudy to cloudy skies. Even into the evening, same situation. But once we start working overnight, I'd say after 10. Now, Future Track has pulled the rain out from late tomorrow evening. I think it's still at least a possibility after 10. But as we go overnight, initially somewhat isolated showers. I will start to see a few more scattered showers, perhaps even a rumble of thunder or two. But again, at this point, no severe weather is expected. But we'll have these showers, few rumbles of thunder continuing through the first half of our Thursday. So even by 8, there's still not a lot out there. So that's what we mean too. This rain's not going to be super helpful. But again, for those who get it, it is certainly better than nothing. And as we go late morning into the afternoon on Thursday, the rain chances begin to wrap up. We're looking at the low 40s to start our day and into the low 50s by 11 o'clock this morning. Heading down the road, we're looking at highs today, low mid 60s. We'll go into the upper 60s tomorrow, low 60s Thursday. 70s return Friday and Saturday. Another system though, Saturday into Sunday brings a few more shower chances out there. And that's the nice thing. While these chances aren't great, this is the most rain chances we've had on the extended forecast in quite some time. So it does knock us down a little bit cooler to start next week. Temperatures climbing in the second half of next week. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Samantha now with sports.
Thanks, Chris. Today in sports, the high school basketball regular season is nearing its end this week, but teams are continuing to jockey for position and seeding before district tournaments. Frontenac dominates Columbus in girls basketball action yesterday. The Raiders jump out early when Maddie Bland finds Reese Franklin, who connects with Brecklin Condon for a three-pointer. Bland pushes the ball in transition to Jocelyn Ashbreaker for an easy layup. Stevie Likely feeds Lakin Sullivan on the wing, who finds Condon for another basket. Condon throws a long pass to Likely for 2 more points. The Raiders controlled the game from start to finish, cruising to a 63-23 victory over Columbus. Frontenac looks for the sweep in the boys' nightcap against Columbus. Right off the tip, Jonas Stover taps to Jet Tanner, who finds Carter Woodcock for an and one finish. Cooper Sayes feeds Tanner, who connects with Stover at the arc for a 3-pointer. Woodcock hands off to Ethan Midget, who finds Sayes splitting defenders for a right-handed finish. The Raiders answer when they work the ball to Jake Murphy in the corner, who drains a triple. Frontenac rallies back to complete the doubleheader sweep with a 55-43 victory over the Titans. That's it for sports. We'll be right back. Animated sports film GOAT tops the weekend box office in North America, scoring an estimated $17 million. Wuthering Heights slips to second place, earning more than $14 million. Biographical sequel I Can Only Imagine 2 debuts in third spot with $8 million. The animated underdog story proves audiences still love a good sports tale at the movies.
And a reminder, we have those red flag warnings in place today. So again, no outdoor birding, very windy conditions, very dry conditions again. Mostly cloudy skies, low 40s to start, low 50s by 11 o'clock this morning. We're much warmer though today, low to mid 60s. Southwest winds 15 to 25, gusts upwards of 45, maybe locally higher gusts as well. So again, just be very cautious with anything that could be flammable or could spark a fire. You need to be very careful out there. Into the evening we go, still mostly cloudy skies, those southeast winds gusting to 25, eventually easing up after about 2-3 a.m. Back into the low 40s tonight. We'll be into the upper 60s, maybe some low 70s tomorrow. Late storms from Wednesday night into early Thursday, low 60s, and then into the 70s Friday, Saturday. Another cool down by Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.